Hello everyone, my name's Helen, I'm the Diddy Stitcher, my pronouns are she, her. It is Saturday, the 24th of May. I was going to film yesterday, but one, work has been crazy busy this week, and two, I picked up something after work last night that I wanted to show you, so let's get into it. I told you I would have a finish last video, and I do, but it's also an FFO. I'm so excited. Are you ready? Look at it. So this is my Serbian Proverb by La Di Da. This is the sal that I was doing with Trina. We would Zoom usually once a month. So I only worked on this on Zooms with Trina, and it took me 10 Zoomy sessions, so maybe about 20 some hours. Yeah, and I finished it obviously on our last Zoom. So it was last Friday, and well, on my video I'd said I could probably finish it on the next Zoom, and then Trina messaged me and said, absolutely, let's get on a Zoom. So we got on a Zoom, and yeah, I finished, and then immediately started looking for frames, because it's not quite square. So if I had just bought a square frame, I think it would have been like, the frame would need to be about 7 by 7, I think. If I didn't have the mat and everything, I was just buying something off the shelf. It wouldn't have quite fit. It wouldn't be square to the piece. It's ever so slightly taller than it is wide. So I was looking online with Trina on the Zoom, and I was like, we were sending pictures and seeing what was what, and I came across this website called Bold & Framing. Just seemed to be one of those websites where you can buy ready-made frames in kind of standard sizes, or you can choose one of the outside frames and have it made to measure and then shipped to you. And you could include mat and whatever. And I did find a frame that I quite liked, because obviously it's got a lot of green in the piece, so I was kind of going for a green frame. And I found one I liked on the website. And then I was like, Bolden Framing. Bolden is a village like 10 minutes from my house. Is this Bolden? Like, is this where they are? Because I was going to order something, and they said they could only ship with the Perspex. They couldn't ship with glass, which I guess for obvious reasons, but they can say click and collect and you can have glass. So I scrolled right down to the bottom of the page and contact us on the website, and sure enough, the address was 10 minutes around the corner. So I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna go, because they're open to the public, and look at this frame that I've chose to make sure it's the right tone, because you're not always sure when you're buying online. So convinced my husband to come with me on a trip the very next day, because Anna was out, so we were like, we could go and look at stuff. And Anna in a frame shop, I think she would be sensible, but she would be bored, and sometimes you need to take time over these things. And Alex's dad had given him a medal from his great uncle, some kind of family member, distant. We've got it on the ancestry family tree of who he is, but this medal kind of needed looking after, and the family decided that we were the house to kind of put this medal in. But it was just in a box, very tarnished. So I suggested that we get it framed with like a little picture of the person that it's for. William, I think his name is. You know, just so it doesn't sit in a box in a drawer somewhere. It's like out. So you can buy off the shelf medal frames, and this company did it too. So I was like, well, we can both go. I'll get this framed, you get the medal framed. Or, you know, pick a frame for the medal once you've buffed it up, because it was very, very dull. So yeah, we went on a trip Saturday morning, and just walked in. It is in like an industrial estate. We had to go like through a back door, but it was a lovely shop inside, like you wouldn't think. And the person was very helpful. She cross stitches too, which was lovely. So she was really helpful. So I went in and kind of said, I've seen this frame online. And we put it on, and it was like, maybe, do we want a mat, different types of mats? And eventually we settled on this kind of green mat, which I love. This is kind of my favourite colour. A double mat with it's like an oyster kind of colour, which I think is really nice. And then it's like a distressed white frame. And then the anti-reflective glass. They don't do museum glass, like, you know, UV protection and everything, but where this is going, it won't affect that. But it wasn't too much extra for non-reflective glass versus normal glass. And they pinned it. They did the whole thing. It's very, you know, well finished. And it's pretty square. I mean, I couldn't do that pinning it. And yeah, and I left the whole thing with them, and I was like, could you salvage some of the fabrics? This is Picture This Plus Valor 40 count. And she did, or I guess the person that framed it wasn't her, but she left a note, and she was like, that's a very nice fabric, where'd you get that fabric? And then I was telling her about 1, 2, 3 stitch and Flosstube. Didn't say that I had a Flosstube, but I was just like, you'll get very influenced if you watch people on Flosstube. So that was nice. So they managed to salvage like this whole thing, and bless them, they even like had this little bit. I don't think I maybe do a little bit bookmark or something out of this, but that was so nice, because in past I've taken stuff to the framers with some extra fabric, and probably not a hand dyed, but you just never get given that stuff back. They never question whether you want it back. Obviously they don't use the whole thing. I don't know. It was just nice that they acknowledged that, and like even to the point where they didn't cut this bit off. Like they just cut what they need out of it. I guess this bit was here, but so they didn't need a lot of extra either, which is good. So I've got, you know, not quite an 1/8, but a good chunk that I could do something on that with Picture This Plus, which is obviously not cheap, especially to kind of get here in the UK. And this was one of the fabrics that Imogen had brought over last year, the year before. So it's nice that I'll have something else to do with that. So yeah, really happy with that. Obviously you still get some kind of reflection, but it's not glare. And in a week, less than a week, because we dropped it off Saturday morning, we picked it up Friday night, and I'm very happy with it. Very, very happy with it. So that'll go on the wall. I guess I've got glittering leaves, and my first ink circles round robin, which was After the Roses. That are framed, but I haven't picked where to put them, so I'm going to get a cluster of them and put them on the living room wall somewhere. So we'll figure that out. But yes, if you're in the UK, I highly recommend Bolden Framing. I'll link it below. They're not on Instagram or anything like that, but they do custom frames. So if you're pinning or lacing it yourself and you just need an odd size frame or an odd size mat, I think you could buy the mat separately as well if you've got a frame already. Highly recommend. Very nice. Local, family, business. Yeah, really pleased with that. So that was my finish. Yay. So that's all done. Trina and I are carrying on our Zooms because Trina's not yet finished, because we call it chaos. The chaos. It's just chaos. When we were kind of choosing colours, because the called for colours, I think there's only 3 colours in the chart, but we both wanted to change the colours. Mine was somewhat more subtle than Trina's. Trina, all of these little leaves up here, Trina is doing a different colour for each leaf. So it takes a bit longer. For Trina. I think she's finished the words down here, and yeah, but she's got so much thread. She keeps finding thread all over the house. So she's just gonna use it and then use those colours as part of a tail end project, which is just fantastic. So me and Trina are going to carry on the Zooms until she's finished. I mean, we'll probably carry on the Zooms after that, to be fair. But I'm going to switch mine to full coverage. Because yes, when Trina has finished Serbian Proverb, she wants to focus on her full coverage of a Wizard of Oz piece, I think. I don't know what it looks like. I'm very excited to see it. We both want some focus time on the full coverages because it takes a lot. So yeah, that's the plan. But I'm so happy it's done. I've wanted that piece for a long time. I got it at Stitch North last year, so it's been a year since I've had the piece. It's lovely that all of the stitching was with Trina on the Zooms, and I'm so glad it's framed. It's not sitting in a box somewhere. It's going to go on my wall. Trina's probably going to see it where it is behind me when we do our next Zoom. So that's exciting. I'm so excited. So yes, I promised to finish, and there you go. Will there be another finish next video? Maybe. Stay tuned. But apart from that, I've had quite a bit of stitching. So again, these are in no particular order. It's just what was on the list. So another Zoom that I have. I'm so lucky that I get to have these regular Zooms with people. Is Angel of Love by Lavender and Lace. This is the project that I'm doing with Megan Plekchi, one half of the Long Distance Stitches, and I managed to finish another row of 10. I do kind of cheat on this one because it takes a lot to bring it out. So when it's out, I don't exclusively stitch on the Zoom, especially this week because Anna was with me when Megan and I were Zooming. So usually Megan comes on in the morning her time, and it's like afternoonish for us. So Anna was around, and Anna loves to see everybody on Zoom, is constantly asking, when are your Stitchy friends coming on? And, you know, we don't get to do it every week. And with the time difference, usually it's when Anna's gone to bed. But Anna was around. So I couldn't concentrate much on the stitching. I did some. The block that I was doing was like mostly the bead, so I couldn't bead with Anna around. Not that she's like disruptive to the stitching, it's just she wants to sit here in the office because she has to do her busy work while we're stitching. She's like in and out, up and down, wanting pens and stuff, wanting to talk to Megan, so distracting Megan as well. So distracting. Megan's lovely with Anna. But you don't just get to sit and stitch, you know? So I did some of the DMC. And then it was Anna's bedtime, so we had to say goodbye to Megan. I put Anna to bed, and then I got back on the Zoom with Megan downstairs, which is more comfortable for me on this big Q-snap. But by that time I was tired anyway, so I didn't do too much beading. But it was downstairs, so the next night I just finished off those beads because I kind of didn't want to put it away until those beads were done, because the next time I bring it out, those beads are definitely going to need to be done before I can move up, because I'm filling in as I go. So that was the story of the Zoom. Anyway, this is on 28 count, even weave, dyed by myself, 2/2, all the called for. I tried to get 10 rows at a time done, so I did cross off that 10th row after I was off the Zoom the next day. So I think this is about how wide it goes. That's all. And then it stays like this wide for a good maybe 60 more rows, and then it starts to come in, and then the sides are where her wings go. So yeah, let me get up close so you can see. It's just so much, but so gorgeous. I constantly pet it like this. I'm sorry if that gives you heebie-jeebies of me touching my I've washed my hands, it's fine. I'll show you the back because it's a bit strange that it's not full coverage, because obviously there's like tons in the front with the beads, but then because I use the YSL Invisalign, that's braces, something invisible, and it is like a hair, you can't see the stitches on the back unless you're looking very, very closely at where they are. So it's not too bulky on the back, which is good. So yeah, I guess that I'm kind of up to, this will be my next row of 10. So I'm already done some of the DMC, some Krynic. Yeah. I did try, because I'm kind of getting towards, I'm not there yet, but kind of understanding how I'll wrangle this. I did take off this bottom Q snap, and the tension wasn't too bad. I kind of clipped it back with this clip, but didn't have the snap for the tension. So I don't think I'll need to add more. I don't think I'll have to get the whole thing in the Q snap. I'll just move it down, and everything that's not stitched kind of maybe halfway. So I do get some tension here, so I can stitch with some kind of tension, but everything that's stitched will be past the the halfway mark of here. Did that make any sense? Probably not. I'm going to have to stitch with no tension on one side, unless I build a massive Q-snap, and then I have to stitch upside down. It's not terrible, I can stitch upside down. But at some point, something's got to give. My chatelaine, my big chatelaine, is on a 17 by 17. This is currently a 14 by 11. So I could go bigger. But do I really want to? It wasn't too bad stitching without this bottom thing. And I think I was doing it upside down this time around, just because I'm closer to this top bit. So yeah, I love this still. It's still a pain with the beads, because I'm now that I've beaded quite a lot of it, if there is 5 beads in a row, I can only fit 4 in. So I'm kind of doing it between stitches, like over a half of one stitch and a half of the next stitch, just to fit it in. Some of them are still squished together. Some of them there's a little bit more gap because it just gives it more room. I don't know. You definitely can't stitch all of the beads in the same orientation in the called for beads. Maybe if you use delicate or smaller beads, but not the called for way. So just be mindful of that if you're gonna attempt this gorgeous thing. I did pick up a spare pattern. So if you need one, let me know. It is out of print. It is some people's unicorn. So I have my copy that I'm obviously working off of, and I can't sell that until I'm finished this. But I do have a spare copy. If anybody needs one right away, let me know. It is gorgeous. It will be lovely once it's done. This will definitely have to get professionally framed. Maybe I do take that one to the art framer, because they have the museum glass. I think that will need museum glass for the amount of work that took. So next is Chipping Sparrow Biscore Nest by Crossed Wing Collection. I always get that wrong. I always call it Cricket Collection, but that's not it. So my increments that I've decided for this is 500 stitches, because I am counting actual stitches. And this is on a 28 count even weave 2/2. So it goes really quick. So I did 499 stitches. I managed. Not quite the 500, but you know, good enough. So you can see, so this is the bottom of the biscore nest. And then this is the top. So I guess this is the actual nest, and then this is what would be the bush or the tree that it's sat in. And you can see the outline of the egg. There's 4 eggs in this one. And then the egg is stitched 1/1. So that'll be fun once I get to that. But that was really easy. I think I did that in one sitting. I could sit down and do more on it, but 500 stitches is fine for that. It gets a little bit moving. I don't have to sit with it for too long. I got this big piece of fabric because there's 3 more in the collection, I think, after this to do. So I'm going to have a little collection of biscore nests. Next is Illuminations on the Wall, aka Sycamore Gap, by Trueveil Stitch Kits. And again, increment was 500 stitches. I got 486, but I kind of just stopped at a good place, so I was okay. So this is on a 36 count even weave, 2/2. So you can get this as a kit. I've just got the PDF. My sibling is getting back into cross stitching. We did it together, I mean, when we were really young, and I've been stitching since I was 5. They are like, how old are you? They're like 6 years younger than me. So I guess before they were born, I was stitching. And tried to get them to stitch all the time, maybe, because I didn't have friends that would stitch and didn't know. I wasn't on the internet at 8. I mean, I was, but just playing Neopets, was that? Yeah. Not in stitching blog groups or whatever. Anyway. So they've been in and out of stitching, more ADHD flicking between hobbies rather than me ADHD hyper focusing on cross stitch. So anyway, they've got tons of stuff for stitching. They're getting back into stitching. They want this kit, so I'm going to buy this kit for them. So I finished the lettering, I think, and then just more of the filling of that, the navy blue. So this is like a grey up here, than the navy blue of the sky. Those stars are already stitched in just blank, and then I'm just filling in around them. So I got this pattern when it was first released in God knows when. But I started it the day after, or the day that it was discovered that Sycamore Gap was cut down, vandalised. Like a however old tree it was, just cut down. It was ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It's still unknown why. I think there's 2 people been charged and found guilty, but not yet sentenced. I don't know what the sentence is for cutting down a tree. I'm glad that someone is being held accountable. I don't know, what punishment would be acceptable for like an icon of a tree, and then just like, any tree. It's just ridiculous. I still can't wrap my head around it. Anyway, just a little update for those that are following the story. I'm not sure when sentencing is. I will try and remember to tell you if I hear anything about it. But yeah, seeing the what we could out of the court proceedings, they literally filmed themselves doing it. Ridiculous. And then, sending each other's messages after the fact of, people posting it on Facebook and what have you of, oh, isn't this terrible? And they're making fun of it. Just awful. So I started it, the day after that happened, just to memorialize it. But it's been a while. And then when I finish it, it's just one of those that is on my list. So yeah, 500 stitches. So I didn't quite make it to 500 stitches, but I was like, that's that's fine. I'm done with that. Another one that I worked on. So did I show you this last video? This is little hexes by These 20 Stitches, artwork by Uncanny Kari. So I got a little ghosty. Isn't he so cute? I'm obsessed. So there are 3 separate patterns for these little hexes. Little planchette, little teacup, little tome. And I'm smushing them all together to make them like all stand together. I'll make like some kind of pillow thing for Halloween. I started this for the halfway to Halloween Sal hashtag that Jason X Stitches got me onto, and because I had finished the moonface belf pull that I was doing every full moon, this is now my do it every project. So I worked out if I do 30 columns, because it's not rows, not up and down, it's side to side. 30 columns every 13th of the month for kind of dark stitching. It's not really dark, but I'm not a Halloweeny type girl, so this is about as good as I get. So this was what I had, because I wanted to start these for ages. They're only little. There's a lot of stitching in the ghost, but relatively it's only little, and I don't want it to sit for very long. So if I do 30 rows, 30 columns, each 13th, I'll get it done by Halloween, I think. And then I'll have a little bit at the end to maybe fully finish it into a pillow, but we'll see. So yeah, I did this. This is definitely the cut off of the 30. So this is the edge of the planchette. I didn't want to go further because I wanted to definitely get this 30. So this is the cut off. So I did an extra for the ghost, but I couldn't really leave that out because of counting, making sure that it was in the right place. So yeah, the next 30 that I do, whether I come this way or this way, won't be as much because I won't have to do another ghost again for a while. Maybe I'll come this way, do the 30 this way, and then I think there may be 10, and then I'll do 20 this way. Anywho, this is on 28 count. Is it 28 or 32? Maybe 32. Lavender even weave. I think it's just Vigart. Call for DMC. Super cute. It's 1/1. That's why it's tiny. So yeah, glad this isn't gonna kind of linger. Yeah, I want this done and up for Halloween because I don't have a lot of Halloween decorations. I kind of decorate for Halloween and then leave it up till December-ish, so it's more like autumn. Got a lot of pumpkins, stuff like that, so that'll add to that collection. I've got the little collection of things from The Nightmare Before Christmas, like Frog's Breath and Deadly Nightshade and something else. Can't remember. Like the actual jars and stuff, so I feel like it would sit nicely in front of those. And this will probably be done as well. That could go there. So this is Pumpkin Row by October House Fiber Arts. I always get that wrong in my head. This is the little in-hand project that I take when I take Anna to swimming lessons. And this is what I've got. So I finished this pumpkin, and this is the end pumpkin, and then I did the little bits underneath and got up to the pumpkin lettering, and then I started this pumpkin, and then there will be one more and a few more of these lines here, and then that'll be done. So I think this is the one that will be finished for my next video, and it will be another little pillow for Halloween / autumn. Yeah, I really love it. This is on 36 count Speculas by Roxy Floss Co. Wow. And all these skinny minis from October House Fiber Arts. I'm doing on, I got a big piece of this fabric. They're all going on this fabric. I've got a lot lined up, so lots of projects for future swimming lessons. And then the last three are all Christmas. We had a Christmas in May moment. So first one, this is all a mess. So I've got what's that? Piece of something on my fabric. It's okay, it's on the side. Yeah, I don't know which way up this goes. I think it goes this way. So this is Christmas Tree Mandala by Chatelaine. It's one of their mini ones. So I'm doing a quarter of this every rotation. I guess that's my increment, is to do a quarter of it. So I did a Christmas tree, a bush, and the outline. This middle bit was already done. So that's like kind of not part of the quarter. But yeah, that's not sparkling very well in this light. But it's all beaded, all cry-necked. It's just a bit of a slog, this one. Because it's just repeating what I did the last time. It's not too much fun. Whereas my other chatelaine is like big enough that the last time I did something different. But hey ho, I just need to do it 2 more times and it'll be done. And the beading is really quick because there's not too much of it compared to Angel of Love. So that's quite nice. Yeah, that's about it. This is a 28 count. I'm guessing it's a 28 count. I think it's Pearl Grey or Dove Grey by Zweigart. 2 of 2. Call for DMC, not called for beads. Just kind of what I had in stash that would work. And I added these mother of pearl stars on the top of the Christmas trees because the Christmas tree needs a star on top, definitely. Yeah, I don't know. I'm like not thrilled with it. Maybe when it's done and all 4 of them are, it'll make more sense. But at the minute, it's just kind of like, I don't know if I like it very much. But I will finish it. It'll just be done. So that was first Christmas. Second Christmas is like a finish for now. This is my Christmas Village Mill Hill massive thing. So I finished the stitching on the police station. I just finished it last night. I'm binge watching The Handmaid's Tale trying to catch up before I start the new season, last season, because I always forget what happens from the beginning. So I finished this watching probably 4 episodes last night. I'm nearly there. I'm in season 5 now. So yeah, that's the police station. Because I finished it and I've taken it off Q-Snap. I'll show you what it looks like. Big. It's an absolute mess. So these 2 top ones are fully stitched, fully backstitched, fully beaded, just missing their buttons. Some of the other ones are backstitched, but none of the others are beaded. So I've got one more to do in the bottom corner there. That's the cobbler is next. And then I'll go back and bead and backstitch everything. That'll be done. And then I don't know, turn it into some kind of wall hanging somehow. I don't know how to do that. I don't have a sewing machine. I think I definitely need to send it off because I don't think I can do that. I have enough of the kits to make another one. Do I want to make another one? I think I'll see how it looks when it's beaded. And then I'll decide what to do with it. Because I do want to make it like a wall hanging that I can just roll up and put away when it's not Christmas decoration time. I'm just not sure. I'm enjoying the stitching of it. This is a 28 count linen called Dirty. That's what I got. It's like the same colour as the perforated paper that you get in the kits. That was about all the thought I had about that when I started that piece, God knows how long ago. So I guess I'm like just over 50% because I've got 11 stitched plus 2 of them basically finished with the beads. Yeah. And then last Christmas, I gave you my heart. This is Noel Blanc by Renato Parolin. My Noel is not Blanc anymore. My Noel is Rouge, because the blank wasn't showing up on this linen banding. That looks nice there. I'm having such anxiety about this colour. So yeah, this is what it should look like. So it's all, the berries are white, the lettering's white. It's all like white and red. I've had to go with red to make it stand out. And I put the yellow as like the gold accent, but then up close when you're stitching it, you know, this happens. It looks like circusy. It's like circusy red and yellow rather than Christmassy red and gold, if that makes sense. But looking like that looks fine. I'm happy with that. So these increments, these are split into what I'm calling like garlands and letters. So there's a garland, a letter, a garland, a letter, a garland, a letter. So I've done 2 of the pieces now. So next time I just stitch the next bit of garland, which is not as big as this one. So that'll be okay because this is a 28-ish count and I'm doing 1/1. And this, I already have the pull for it because I bought the linen banding and I bought the pull at the same time, and then I had to find something that would work for it. So I guess it'll be something like that. It'll be good. But yeah, that looks good, I think. Does it look good? You tell me if it looks good. I'm happy with it. because I've had to pivot. I do like the white, like, and kind of like the rustic, but I've had to go the more traditional because you can't see the white on this linen 1/1. It'll be okay. My Christmas tree is not a certain colour scheme, it's just the ornaments that I like, so it's very colourful. It's not like meant to be colourful, it's just there's not one type of theme, so it'll go with the rest of my Christmas decorations. And yeah, that was all the whips that I worked on. That was a lot. How many was that? 3, 6, 9 with the finish of Serbian Proverb. So haul, I only got the bell pull for moon phase. So here's moon phase. I have like pulled the thread to do like a rolled, I think I'll just do a rolled hem so it'll be flat rather than like a pulled hem or anything like that, because you've got the detail of the triangles around the border. But I did order these, so if I roll this up, so my plan is to stitch down the sides, then roll the top and stitch across, but not the ends, because this bell pull has this gap in the middle. You can thread it on and off, so I'll be able to do that kind of thing, and it'll be the right size and whatnot. I have measured it. But yeah, I really like that. The black ironwork with the black outline on the stitching. It's got a circle for the moon, and this is going to hang in my bedroom, I think. So I did get 2 because I didn't really know. Like the Noel one just has the one thing, and I'll have to probably put something in the bottom to keep it weighted down. But I did just end up buying 2, and this is going to be the weight at the bottom, just to make it symmetrical, because this is kind of symmetrical. That was my idea anyway. I think it's going to work. Hopefully, I'll see if I can fully finish this for the next video. But yeah, that was my haul, and they weren't too expensive, and they were from Create Nostalgia. And I think the size that I want, they only had the 2 left, so I was like, I can't buy one and leave a 1 all only. And then speaking of leftover fabric, I have this tiny little bit that came off the top of Moon Phase, and I'm going to use it for something, because isn't that just the most gorgeous piece? Maybe I'll just frame it. Maybe I'll just frame that little piece, because that's gorgeous. Kaylee's amazing. So my plans are, it's the 24th today. I should have stitched on Sarah Watson, the piece for my auntie, on Thursday, but as I said at the beginning, work's been crazy, so I'll have to do that at some point. Next on my list is my Celtic Cross Tarot mat. Maybe I can finish that as well, because there isn't too much to do on that. That's the one that I had to hem it, do the rolled hem again. I had to do that before I finished it, because it was fraying really badly and I was going to lose the bit, so I hemmed it, and then I just need to stitch the outline of the cards. I think I need to do 2 full ones, and then just the one edge of another 4, which is nothing. I do want to stitch in those card spaces what the meaning of those are. There's a couple of different ways that you can read a Celtic cross in tarot reading, But there is one specific one that I really like, my husband really likes, so I'll go with that, and I'll stitch it into the card spaces so that we know that's the one that we like, because I always get confused every time I open the book. So I'll have to chart some kind of a number so you know which order to do it in, and then what the meaning of it is. Like, yeah, one's like past and one's future, and blah, blah, blah. I don't think it'll take me long. It'll take me longer to chart it, but once it's done, it should be fine. Next on my list for my big ones is my chatelaine, my big chatelaine. So I'll get that out. I have to be really in the mood to do that, so it might just sit downstairs until it's done. I mean, it took me maybe 4 weeks to get through the Mill Hill Christmas Village one, just because sometimes I don't sit downstairs, sometimes I don't feel like stitching on it, what have you. So no time pressure. And then now I'm gonna edit this and get it up, but also I have to clean the house. I need to run a Hoover around. I don't run the Hoover every day, but it definitely needs a run around today before Anna gets home, and then we can enjoy the rest of the long weekend, because it's a long weekend for us today. Here, this weekend, here. And people might be Zooming, which is exciting. So I'll just wait around until people get on, maybe, because I'm in the future time zone, so I just wait until everybody else is ready. Life stuff, like I said, work's been really busy this week. Stuff that I'm not happy with, and I had a good conversation with my manager, which was lovely, to be able to like properly just vent to her, and her listening, and like validating my concerns, which was nice, but also that she was like, I was in your exact position probably a year ago, so she knows kind of where I'm coming from, and we have a plan. And I don't know, I feel like I'm 33, so I'm still relatively young, but I feel old, I think, just because I've always felt old. But in terms of my career, I feel like now is just in my life in general, now is a good time in my life to kind of do something rather than just like kind of have a job. So I don't know what it means. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know what work will do about it. I might keep you updated. I might not. Whatever. Other life stuff. Alex has been very ill this week. He was very sick last weekend. Like, stayed in bed after some harsh words from me, because he's not a good patient. He doesn't sit still even when he's ill. So he did stay in bed, and he's had a high temperature and kind of lots of pain everywhere. Kind of not localized, but then some localized. But no DNV, no cough, no kind of explanation of what it was. So it got to Tuesday, so 3 or 4 days of a high temperature with, nothing helping. Went to the doctors. Doctors were like, got no idea what it is. Called the hospital. The hospital, like, he has to come to A&E because it's kind of generalized. We can't kind of diagnose him over the phone. So he went up to A&E for about 5 hours. Came back with some very strong antibiotics. They still don't know where the infection is. There is an infection somewhere. lots and lots of blood sent off for cultures and whatnot. I haven't heard if there's any results of that. I don't think he's had call or anything. I think it would, if there was something, they would ring. If it's just a medical mystery, then the antibiotics seem to be helping, but he does still have a temperature. So this is a week of, he did have high temperatures at the beginning. Now it's just kind of like elevated. On antibiotics for 4 or 5 days now. So I don't know, he's determined to go back to work because he's had the whole week off under much protest. But I'm trying to tell him to just recover. Because even though he's like, he can get out of bed, you need to recover. You need to, not just feel better than you did when you were dying. You need to actually fully recover. He's a project manager, so he has a kind of fast-paced job, and he's worried about his projects, obviously, with some unscheduled time off. But yeah, we'll see. Anna's fine. She's great. That's about it. So I'm going to go tidy this up, edit, clean, and see if we get some stitchy zooms on later. I will talk to you in 2 weeks or less, because I'll probably film on the Friday. Be good. I love you, and be kind.